take a look at the motive that you get in the second system. That idea right there is a motive that he uses over and over and over again. And what I'd like to do is create what's called a transformational graph that just shows how we move from statement of that motive to the next statement to the next. And we're going to create a little map for the passage. We'll use nodes like this to represent things, and then we'll use arrows between them to say, okay, where did we go? How did we get from point A to point B? Now let me start with the motive itself. Let's look at the intervals within it. So when we take a motive and we do a little map like this, we're going to use the notes as content for these places, these nodes in our graph, and the arrows will be whatever we need to do to get between them. So in this case, we're going G flat, D, A flat. How big is that first leap? It's like F sharp, right? F sharp. Yeah.
So it's the third one.
So if we're in this case, we could actually write this because we care that it's actually going down that amount. That's not a pitch class interval. I'm saying I want to go down 4 semitones, all right? And then we go, how much further to get to the A flat? How big is this? It's a leap down, so I'm going to use negative. How far? It's a tritone. What's that? It's a 6, right? 8. Because if I'm thinking around the clock face, if I'm thinking around here, then the shortest distance between G flat and D is this way. But if we're thinking in pitch class land, we always go clockwise. So T8, that's right. And if I want to go this way, I'm going to have to write a minus on there so that you know I'm going to go counterclockwise. So a positive always means to go this way, and I would have to use a negative to go backwards, to go counterclockwise. Okay, now take a look at what he does, what Janacek does, as he moves to the next statement of this motive. The next time he states it, I have given the measure number in a circle. Do you see 5? Look in the second system, the second measure, and you've got a new statement of it. Hear that sound? It's a major third, isn't it? That's 4 down. Is that a tritone? Yeah, you bet. Sounds like it. So we're getting the same motive again. Exactly the same interval pattern. But where is it now?
Transpose.
Where? How far? How did we get there?
4 down.
Good.
Semitone?
Down 4?
Down 4.
Yeah, down 4 semitones.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say, and I'm going to just say the motive in measure 1 for short. And then we've got a motive in measure 5. And the way we get from there to there is we go down 4. All right, now go a little further. See measure 9 circled? Same pattern. C to A flat, major third. A flat to D, tritone. Same thing, but how much further down are we?
Second.
Down 2, yes. So here's measure 9, and to get there I have to go down 2, so we say T and then the interval. Measure 11, we get the motive again. Same pattern, but on A flat, which is how far down? We're going from, yeah, 4 down. Actually, you know what I should do is put measure 10 in there too, because that's another statement of it. Let's insert 10 in there first. and then we'll get to measure 11. And yeah, we will get down to 4, but we're getting there by moving down by steps. See that? Whole tones down. I'll just mention this because it's so interesting. Janacek makes this huge assertion. He says that even underneath whole tone collections or other kinds of what some people would think of as just naturally atonal things, atonal collections, he says there's always a triadic basis underneath it. And that's quite a wild assertion. But at least in his music, I can see kind of what he means by it. Because what he'll do is he'll take a note of his whole tone collection, he'll drop it and create a new sound out of it. Look in measure 19. See the F sharp 9/7 chord? There are a lot of whole tones in that sound. Think about the root of F sharp 9. And the ninth will give you a step up. The minor seventh gives you a step below. That's pretty whole tony. And then you got to get the chordal third in there. Okay, so you hear it starting to form this sound. All you need now is the fifth to mess it up. But that's just one note off. All you had to do was take one note, drop it, and he's got a dominant seventh chord. In other words, take 5 notes of a whole tone collection, and you drop one of those notes in an appropriate way, and you'll create, as he's done here, an F sharp 9 chord in this case, a 9th chord. And by doing that, he kind of shows us cards. He's showing that underneath this is kind of a B centricity, but up to that point, you're going to hear nothing but whole tone. He's staying within his whole tone collection by moving by intervals that never get him outside. He moves by seconds, he moves by major thirds, he moves by tritones, and by doing that, he takes this entity, this motive here, and moves it down this path. Now here's what's kind of revealing about doing this kind of a process. You can see that he has taken a motive that goes down a major third, down a tritone. And he moves that motive itself. So this, compress it down and put it in here. This is the motive, and this is the motive in its bigger picture. And when he moves that motive, he moves it by this interval. Now it looks like it breaks down here, but see what happens? Mm-hmm. If you go -2, -2, -2, you have down 6. And then he goes away from that whole tone. So the whole tone collection, the whole tone passage is dictated by a pattern, T-4, T-6, that duplicates the transformations that you have already experienced on a small scale inside the motive. In other words, this technique of showing a transformational path like this, a transformational graph, allows you to make connections between things and just realize that the same process is at work in a couple different ways. On a small scale, it's operative in a motive, working on pitch classes. On a bigger scale, it's taking the motive itself and running it through those intervals too, transposing them, moving them wholesale. So transposition takes notes and moves them through some interval, up or down, and in pitch class that can mean some weird things, as we've discovered.